Primarily, first and foremost, it is to give parents a better idea of the skills and competencies that their students are not only being introduced, but those that they have mastered and those that they're still working on. By giving you a numeric rubric for looking at specific skills that they're required to have in each grade period, you will know better how your child is performing, particularly as we move toward Common Core state standards and the rigor that is in place for all of our scholars as they work toward going deeper and more comprehensively into their learning.
A B, a C, a D, and F is a fixed point on a line, whereas the 1s and the 2s and the 3s show the infinitesimal numbers that come between a 1 and a 2, or between a 2 and a 3. So my child could be at a 2, 2.0, 2.6, it doesn't matter. They're along the path moving towards that 3.
Under that model, you don't ever let a child fail.
Right.
You remediate until you get proficiency, and the grade reflects only proficiency.
We have to know what our students know. We have to know more than an A, B, C, D. And what a standards-based report card is the reflection of the frameworks of the actual teaching and lessons that are going on in the classroom. And better reflects what the children are doing.
Well, it also gives the teacher the ability to use some non-traditional forms of assessment and make more students successful, I think, and then project-based learning is so much easier to score on a standards-based report card than it would be on a letter grade.
And I love it that our parents are involved in such a great way and do want their students and children to do better. So this is just a reflection of what our children and our know.
And I think standards-based report card shows the growth. You know, you can follow your child's progress through the grade arc. Oh, okay, they really were struggling with this particular concept at the beginning of first grade, but look, it's taken to the end of second grade, and now they really have mastered this particular standard. I see, it took them that long, but they got it. So it removes the competition and allows you to focus just on your child and their individual progression, because learning is individualized. We don't all do it at the same rate or in the same way.
That we're teaching to every child at their level, helping them grow from that grade level, from that mastery, and like you were talking about, the progressions.
Well, you know, an F doesn't mean anything. I would maybe have a third grader that got an F all year, and their parents would never see that they had grown tremendously, but that the standards-based report card will show that. Maybe they started way below grade level, but now they're almost there, and they're still making an F on a traditional report card. So to me, this is a better reflection of student growth too.
Exactly.
Well, it's a huge shift in focus from a focus on teaching to a focus on learning. And the one thing that I heard very loud and clear at the AAEA conference was we're still a nation focused on 20th century teaching methods and skills. Yet we're well into the 21st century. And part of the 21st century learning allows for teachers and students to, like you said, individualize their learning, but the ABCD may then hinder because our job is not to give a summative ABCDF, it's to take that ABCDF and identify where we've made mistakes and what are we going to do to fix them. And so it's really becoming more subjective in grading using the ABCDF scale, in my opinion.
I think this is more focused on learning, and ABCs are more focused on teaching. I hadn't thought about it that way until Ryan said that. What have I learned? Not what did you teach? You taught all this and I failed. But this is more focused on learning and less. I really like that.
And you always say what's best for kids, whereas a traditional report card is convenient for the teacher.
It's convenient for the teacher, plus it's an easy way for the parents to see it too.
Right, but this is what's best for kids.
And that's the bottom line in all of our discussions. What's best for our students? What are best for our children?
So why did we
Anyway.
change to standard-based?
Thinking that with the institution of the Common Core standards, it presented a natural opportunity for change in process and procedure with regard to teaching, learning, grading, all of those things. And when you start looking at a Common Core national curriculum, you have to evaluate, are your current practices best practices? And based on the data that they provide from the Common Core, from the U.S. Department of Ed, the choice was to go standards-based to be more cutting edge for our kiddos and make our kiddos the most responsible, well-educated learners, not only in their elementary years, but when they graduate from high school.
We've shifted from lots of standards to deeper standards, and the only way to gauge depth is not by point value, but by tracking their progress.
So, but my child has always made A's and B's. Why don't they have all 3s?
Well, typically you want to be instructing a child in a 2 because a 2 means that I'm learning and that I'm growing toward a goal. So if your child makes all 3s, that means they already know everything that we're teaching and that they've already mastered all those skills. So either our instruction is too easy or our methods are incorrect, because we need to keep every child in a 2 where they're learning and reaching goals. So if your child were at a 3, they would be learning things they didn't need. They would be doing things they'd already learned, and it wouldn't be appropriate instructional match for your child.
Okay, so what can I do to help my child? Encourage my child?
You can look at the areas on the report card where your child has 1s and 2s. You can also look at the areas on the report card that have yet to be graded, and you can start working on helping your child master those skills. The other nice thing about a standards-based report card is it separates the child's study skills and their behavior from their actual grades. So you can look at some of their behavioral skills and their study skills that they need to work on as well to help improve their grades.
And the standards-based report card reflects a standards-based education, being more relevant to the student and meeting the individual student needs rather than that class as a whole and to the middle. We're going to be able to try to help the more advanced students continue to advance. The students that need remediation, to give them the remediation and to carry everyone else at their own level along with them. We don't leave the gifted students or the advanced students. We don't leave the students that need more attention. We don't leave our average middle students anywhere. We advance all students where they are. And I think what you said, Mr. Oswald, the focus of what the student actually learns, not just what is taught. We are moving all year to the 3. We're moving all year. If your student is getting the tasks right now, that will lead ultimately to proficiency at the end of the year, which is the 3, then you will have many 2s on the standards-based report card each 9 weeks leading up to the end. If there are some 1s, there is added needed remediation, and you need to be working with the teacher to remediate that child right now. If your child already has the 3s, you really are needing to offer something at home, and we're needing to look very specially at school what we are doing with a standards-based education for that child. So this is why we have moved to standards-based report cards. Relevancy of education in the 21st century.
Thank you for viewing our podcast about standards-based report cards.